Finally, Power Vindicator is a very good spot in Guild Wars 2 PvE right now. Why is that? Because the latest balance patch actually buffed the number so much that you can actually now play it quite easily in a lot of content. Because it has amazing damage. It reaches almost 44k DPS. It not only has amazing bursts, but it also has lots of cleave, while still being very fluid to play, very fun and fast paced. So for all the Power Vindicator enjoyers out there, this is the build for you. As always, thanks to my dear supporters on YouTube, Twitch and Patreon. And now, enough of the teasing, let's start with the gear. So for gear, it's really straightforward. You want to run full Berserker gear on your armor. If you can afford infusions, you would go with power infusions. And you want to run Superior Rune of the Dragon Hunter, just for the most amount of damage. For your weapons, you do the same. You go full Berserker. However, you want to go with Superior Sigil of Hydromancy on your Greatsword and Force. On your second weapon set, you want to run Sword. However, there you want to run Superior Sigil of Force with Superior Sigil of Air. If your subgroup can't upkeep permanent Vigor on you, which might be the case depending on what kind of supports you're playing, then you would swap the Superior Sigil of Hydromancy to Superior Sigil of Energy for 1 extra dodge. To be honest, the Vigor doesn't have to be permanent, just a frequent application of Vigor is enough to keep you dodging, but if it's not possible, be sure to check that, then you would swap to Energy. Energy would be the safe bet. But Hydromancy is of course the most damage if you have Vigor. For your trinkets, also very straightforward, you go full Berserker. However, the back piece would be a Dragon back piece. Relic is always Relic of the Thief. It's just the best damage option. Vindicator has not that many other alternatives that make sense. So 5% damage buff, that's good enough. For food and utility consumables, you would go with Cilantro Lime Sous Vide Steaks, of course, for the lifesteal and power and ferocity. Perfect. If you can't afford the ascended versions, you would go with bowl of sweet and spicy butternut squash soup. Same stats, just without the lifesteal. You lose a little bit of damage and healing, but that's fine. For utility consumables, you would go with superior sharpening stones or something that gives similar amount of power. By the way, if you want to see more guides like this, be sure to subscribe to my channel. But now to the traits. So for the traits, you run Devastation, Invocation, and Vindicator. Devastation is just giving you a lot of more damage and more vulnerability application. You get 20% more damage when the foe has over 80% of health, and you get 20% more damage when the foe has less than 50% health. So you almost always have 20% more damage. Not completely, but still. And you get more power from might, so that means just more damage as a power build. Just a lot of aggressive traits in this trait line. Invocation gives you some self buffs, some more damage while you have Fury, should obviously always be the case. And just more damage again. This one helps a bit with the boon uptime for your party. And last but not least, this is the trait that was buffed and is absolutely broken in my opinion, was before already. So if you have Fury, you now get 25% more crit chance. So that means if you have Fury, you actually have such an easy way to crit cap with Berserker gear and stuff, because you get so much crit chance passively. This is the first part, but then they buffed it with the latest balance patch to actually also convert a percentage of your outgoing critical strike damage into healing. It's only 2%. So think about it like that. If you do 40k DPS in a fight, in a real scenario, which is obviously doable with this build, because you're normally on benchmark, you get around 44. So that means this will heal you for over 800 per second. Yeah, 800 per second. Just by playing a DPS build, which is obviously insane. On top what your healer provides. So it's really good. It's really good. And then you have Vindicator, just again, more damage while your endurance is not full. Just some passives that are not that crazy, a little bit more power. And here, this is quite important. Energy Melt now increases or improves the next dodge that you do. Yeah. And because you're taking Death Drop as a dodge, which obviously is a damage dodge, gives you not only a damage buff when you dodge, but also applies damage when you dodge. That means that the next dodge after you use your Energy Melt will deal even more damage. It will be double the damage. So it's actually really, really important that you understand this and should use it in burst phases when there is exposed up and whatever. Now to the skills quickly. So you want to run Alliance Stance and Shiro. In Alliance Stance you have some double heals. Both of them are really nice. Then you have either some evade or some leap finisher to go in and use that to get close. Then you have some Condi Cleanse or some quickness access here and endurance gain for both of them. Then you have some stun break, either an aggressive stun break that dazes the enemy or something that gives you protection, so keep that in mind. But typically you will always stay in the red stance because that's a damaging one. But if you need for whatever reason Condi Cleanse, stability and those sweet stuff, you can also swap up, of course, to the blue one. And then you can use the Spear of Archimedes. It's crazy amount of damage from 1200 range, so that's the best one. Then, like I said, this will give you some energy and also improve the next dodge. And then in Shiro, you have some nice teleport if you really need to. You have some dodge if you wanted to instant break. You have some really crazy good strike damage increase with Impossible Odds skill. So that's obviously also a part of the rotation. And then you have some crazy CC if you really needed to, which costs a lot of energy as well. But if you need 3 seconds of stun, that's crazy good. And you have some Life Siphon healing. On your Greatsword, you just have a lot of damage on your 2 skill. You have a block on your 4 skill that deals more damage if you get blocks in. Then you have your 3 skill as some nice just mobility skill, also deals some nice damage. And the 5 skill, of course, crazy good damage, also AoE. And then on your sword, the auto attack has the same range as the Greatsword, but it's faster. And therefore you want to auto attack here a little bit more because it's obviously a little bit better. Then you have your 2 skill, which is just a very nice damage skill as well. The 3 skill you should probably not use for the most part because it's very good in competitive modes because you evade and you might evade in PvE for some reason. Sometimes it's very good as well, but typically you don't want to do that. You just want to use your auto attack and your 2 skill as well as your 4 and your 5 skill for a lot of damage. And the 5 is also some nice teleport. When it comes to the rotation, you want to precast 1 dodge out of combat to gain the 4 runners of that. And then you want to use Energy Melt into Spear of Archimeros, Phantom's Onslaught, so your Greatsword 3 into Greatsword 5, and Mist Unleashed, so your Greatsword 2. Then you swap to Legendary Assassin stance and weapon swap at the same time. In Legendary Assassin stance, you want to use Chilling Isolation, so your 2 skill, dodge, use Shackling Wave into Impossible Odds, and use your Death Strike, so your 5 skill. Then you use 2 auto attack chains into Sword 2, dodge, and do 1 more auto attack into Energy Melt, and another auto attack into finishing the auto attack chain. Then you do 1 auto attack chain, use your Chilling Isolation, so your 2 skill again, do a dodge, you do 1 auto attack and swap to Legendary Alliance stance and weapon swap. So you see you always weapon swap with the legend swap at the same time. In Legendary Alliance stance you want to use Eternity's Requiem, Spear of Archimeros, Nomad's Advance and Mist Unleashed. So your 2 skill on Greatsword. You want to dodge, use Energy Melt, you do 1 auto attack chain, you use Nomad's Advance into Mist Unleashed, so your Greatsword 2, use 1 dodge, auto attack chain into Mist Unleashed and another auto attack chain. And finish off this loop with Spear of Archimeros, Energy Melt and Eternity's Requiem and use weapon swap while you swap to Legendary Assassin stance. That's the loop. So to easy memorize when you need to dodge, you can actually just remember on Sword, whenever you use Chilling Isolation, so your 2 skill, you have to dodge directly after that. And whenever you are on Greatsword and on Legendary Alliance stance, you always want to dodge after your Greatsword 2, with the exception of the last one. I think Power Vindicator is a very fun build to play. I really enjoy playing it. It might not be the best in a lot of tryhard scenarios because it's very melee focused and it doesn't have a lot of utility, but I think it's very fun to play. It has amazing DPS, especially in easy fights, and I think you should give it a try. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks to all my supporters on YouTube, Twitch and Patreon. I really appreciate the help to keep my lights on. And now, thanks a lot for watching and I hope to see you all in the next video.